I am really excited to tell you that the next 10 days I am going to share with you 10 brand new videos or audios, depends on whether you are watching this on YouTube or listening to this on the podcast. And all these 10 days, there's going to be a 10-minute educational video or audio all about your metabolism, and especially for those of you who feel like their metabolism may have slowed down. So 10 minutes for the next 10 days. And then after these 10 days, I'm going to invite you to come to my free webinar. This free webinar is called Ignite Your Metabolism, and it's exactly meant for those who feel like no matter what they do, they cannot get the results because their metabolism has slowed down big time. So who exactly is this webinar for? So it's for people who have been eating low calories consistently for several months or years, but have not seen any result. The body does not respond the way they want. They have even cut their calories lower because, like I said, there's been no result. They also have been really consistent with exercise, and they're already working out 3 to 5 times a week, sometimes even more, sometimes even doing 2 workouts a day. Still, nothing is happening. They're exhausted, they're tired, they don't know what to do next. So this is exactly the person who this webinar is for. So Ignite Your Metabolism, it is happening on Wednesday, May 12th at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure that you grab your spot. And I'm going to put the link to my description. It's going to be in the YouTube description. It's also going to be in the show notes, and of course on my blog, urbanjane.co, and also in my Instagram bio. So make sure that you grab your spot if you want to understand what's up with your metabolism, why nothing is changing. If you can't be on that call, that is okay, because I will send out the recording for everybody who do sign up. However, if you are on that live call, you can ask questions that are specific to your situation, and I will help you out on that call. And you will also get some amazing bonuses. So I'm really hoping to see you there. Don't forget, it's on Wednesday, May 12th at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you there. Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today's episode is number 6 out of 10 episodes that we're going to have about metabolism, dieting, weight loss, fat loss, all that good stuff, strength training. And I thought that today would be fun to share with you that one time, the one time that I did a juice cleanse, and what happened, how it went, and what are the benefits, and what were the downsides. So I want to share this with you today. If that interests you, I hope it's interesting and maybe even insightful. So basically how it happened. So it was about, I think 7 years ago at this point, when I was running with my friend, and he told me about this juice cleanse that he had tried, and he said, you know what, I'm feeling so much better, I'm feeling so much lighter, I feel like I got rid of a lot of stuff that I didn't want to have in my body, my digestion improved, and do you want to try it too? And I remember back then I had some sleep issues. I've had sleep issues on and off all the time, and so I was like, I wonder if it could help with that. And he said, yeah, probably, I'm pretty sure it would help, so want to give it a try. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. What does it look like? And so I got the book, and basically what it looked like was that for breakfast and for dinner, you could have either a juice or a smoothie, and it had to be a specific way. So there's all the recipes, how you make your juice or how you make your smoothies. I didn't have a juicer back then, so I had smoothies. And of course, smoothies are a little bit more filling, so that's what I wanted to, because I figured that I might be a little bit hungry when I do this cleanse. But in addition to these juices and smoothies, there's also one solid meal a day. And again, the book had all the recipes of all the foods that all the lunches that you could have, and everything was really healthy. It wasn't restricting fats, it wasn't restricting carbs. It was probably pretty low in protein looking back though, but nothing was specifically like restricted, and all the ingredients were really good. So I remember for lunch eating a lot of fresh or wild fish, and then some organic chicken, and then some quinoa, a lot of leafy greens, and some fruits, and a lot of berries. Not too many fruits, but a lot of berries, and a lot of oils, a lot of coconut oil, a lot of nuts, a lot of cashews, that type of thing. And the recipes are actually really good. They're really tasty. So I enjoyed eating that way. But looking back, the calories were probably pretty low. So even though it wasn't fully juice or smoothie cleanse, that was one solid meal a day, I think the calories probably for the day added up to maybe maybe let's say 1300, 1400, if I had to guess. That's what it was. And remember that I was also running at that time, so I was definitely burning a lot, and my metabolic rate was definitely quite a bit higher. I'm also pretty tall, so 1300 calories a day, 1400 calories a day is really, really low, and I don't think I could do it anymore unless I really had to for some reason. I don't know what that would be, but just, you know, the calories are probably pretty low. So now, before starting this juice, let's call it the juice cleanse, or let's just call it a cleanse, I had actually been eating a lot of food, because it was the year that I had just moved to the United States and started my exchange student year. And of course that came with a lot of food, a lot of drinking, a lot of late nights out, and I had been eating a lot, and I had gained quite a bit of weight. And so now when I started this cleanse, I was thinking, you know, maybe I could lose a little bit, but it wasn't my big focus. It was more just like, okay, I'm going to try this thing. Let's see what happens. Because like I said, my friend said that, you know, he's feeling a lot better, and he thought that it might help with my sleep as well. And so this is how I started. And the first couple of days were actually pretty difficult, because like I said, the calorie cut was pretty significant. I don't know how much I was eating before. I didn't track then, but it was definitely a lot less. But I actually didn't feel terrible. I didn't feel bad. I felt pretty good. And I think the reason was that I cut out a lot of the processed junk that I ate before, you know, a lot of restaurant meals and a lot of fast foods, and of course a lot of alcohol and coffee. So I didn't have those things during this cleanse at all, and I think this was the reason why I started to feel better. I actually did start sleeping better. I remember even there was one morning when I woke up and looked at my watch, and it was like I had slept 8 hours, which was a totally new thing for me. So I didn't feel awful. I actually started feeling pretty good. I cut back on my exercise because I had less energy, and my friend who had done this before, he said that, yeah, it's totally fine to cut back on exercise a little bit, just to give your body more resources to kind of process what's going on and, you know, help your body heal. So the goal was to do it for 3 weeks. But I decided that because I'm feeling actually pretty good, I decided that I'm going to add 1 more week and see what happens. After this 4th week, though, I didn't have a game plan. I did not know what to do next or how to transition off from this quick cleanse. So after 4 weeks, I had lost quite a bit of weight, and I don't know how much. I wish I had weighed myself, I could tell, but I don't know. But now looking back at some photos, I see that I was really, really thin. Like in 1 month, I lost definitely a lot of weight. I was really skinny. I just looked at some photos the other day, and I was like, my clothes were just kind of like hanging on me. So I definitely lost some weight. And I remember I was even able to see a little bit of my abs in the mirror, and I don't have like visible abs. I almost never had them. Like this is just something that is not very defined body part of mine ever. And so now I was like, oh wow, I can see some abs. That's pretty cool. You know, my clothes are fitting again. So of course it gives you a little bit of a high, like, okay, that's great. But I didn't know how to transition off from this thing. And so I just basically jumped back right into what I had done before. And I remember the first day after I had decided, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this, it's fun, but I'm gonna, you know, eat normal food and go out and do the stuff again. I way overate, and that same night we also went out and had a party at my friend's house, and of course we had a couple of cocktails there. And then, you know, sometimes alcohol, especially if you haven't had it in a long time, then you have no limits anymore, right? You don't know what you're doing, like food wise. It's just your appetite goes through the roof, and all the kind of like normal sensations, they just go away. So just eat. And so this is what I did. I remember we drank some rum cocktails. I think we ate like some burritos and some cake, and everything was like absolutely like 180 degrees different from what I had done the previous 4 weeks. And this is absolutely the dumbest decision you could make, to just binge like that on food. And of course, part of it is psychological. You haven't had those foods in such a long time, and this is all that you want to have right now. But part of it is also physiological. Like your body is really hungry, because if you have been on such low calories for a long time, and now you have access to food, and you finally give yourself this permission, you go a little bit crazy. And so I ate all these things, and oh my God, this was a really, really bad decision. Looking back, what I would have done differently, I definitely would have started introducing foods carefully, adding things back in, maybe increase my portions, not have a shake for dinner, but have solid meal for dinner too. Just taking it step by step, adding one food at a time maybe, and like slowly eating more calories, but not doing what I did was just jump right in, eat like it's the last day on earth for you. And I really paid for it. It was really horrible. So the next day I was probably a little bit hungover too, but also really, really full. And of course, the old habit kicked in. You got to burn it off. You got to go run it off. And that's what I did. And I remember literally like I was so exhausted. I was in so much pain. My stomach is in so much pain. And I was trying to run. And at one point I was like, this is impossible. It's absolutely impossible to run. And I just like sat down on the street and almost want to lie down on the street. This is how terrible it felt, because like I said, like my body had been really cleaned up from all kinds of stuff, and now I had like a bunch of alcohol and a bunch of processed foods. Of course it cannot be healthy, especially in those quantities that I had them. So anyways, that was that first day. And then after that, honestly, that kind of stayed on, that this like feeling that I still have to keep eating because now I can again. And so in a very short amount of time, I gained all of this weight back, and I gained back a lot more. And I remember when it was time to go back to Estonia, I had gained a lot of weight, and I felt really, really bad about it. I was like, oh my goodness, like, is everybody gonna judge me? But of course, that's a different story. That's a different topic. It doesn't really matter that much what others think, but I was just feeling really, really uncomfortable. And so why am I even telling you this story? So I did this cleanse. Honestly, when I did this, the goal wasn't to lose weight. It really wasn't. It was because my friend had done this. He had good results, and because I wanted to see if it can help with my sleep. And so, but the weight loss was definitely a side effect that I got out of it. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But now when you think about how many times people do these types of things, like similar things, for weight loss. They try one thing after another, they do one juice cleanse and then they binge, right? Or then they do keto for a while and then they binge, or they just cut their calories in whatever ways and then they can't handle this anymore and then they binge. And this is kind of like a roller coaster. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. So we are alternating these periods of starvation with periods of binge eating and overeating. And this is of course harmful for your metabolism, like big time. Your metabolism doesn't know what to make of it. It's always confused. Is there food? Is there no food? Your hormones are going to be off. You're not going to feel well. You're not going to sleep well. You're going to have skin issues. And of course, you are eventually you become unable to lose any body fat. Even if you do another cut, even if it's deeper than it was before, even if you have juices like all 3 meals a day, nothing is going to work anymore eventually. So this is something I want to do. Be aware of. Like, don't do those quick things. And if you do it for like a cleanse purpose and it's actually like controlled, like maybe like medically controlled, or you know what you're doing, or sometimes people do water fast, but these things too, they have to be controlled. And when you transition off from those things, it should never be like jumping right into like binging and overeating and eating like there's no tomorrow. So it has to be smooth transition. It has to be done in the right way. But if you're constantly jumping from one diet to another, then it's just inevitable that you just want to binge because you haven't had access or you haven't allowed yourself to eat for a very long period of time. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. Please don't forget to sign up for my webinar. This is on Wednesday, May 12th at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern. And what we're talking about on this webinar is exactly this. Why is your metabolism is not responding anymore? If I described you, if you're the one who has tried several of those up and down diets, like on and off food, on and off carbs, all that kind of stuff, and now your body is not responding anymore, what are the things that you have to do? This is exactly what we're going to discuss on this webinar. So I really hope this was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.